Broadcasting from Manhattan Beach and the World Wide Web, you're listening to CHSR, HealthyLife.net.
As a service to our listeners, this program is for general information and entertainment purposes only. CHSR, HealthyLife.net does not recommend, endorse, or object to the views, products, or topics expressed or discussed by show hosts or their guests. We suggest you always consult with your own personal, medical, financial, or legal advisor.
Hello, everyone. Thanks so much for joining us today. We are super excited to be here with you. This is Joanne Reese, and you are tuning in to the Hemp Show on HealthyLife.net radio. And when Linda first invited me to come on and host this show, I felt like, wow, what an honor, what a blessing to host a weekly radio show. I understand that this show was previously held by a woman who was educating people about cannabis, the industry, the legalities, etc. And it was a legacy, kind of stepping into her footsteps here. And this, I believe, is my 8th show over the last couple of months, and it's been really an extraordinary experience for me. Holistic medicine, plant-based wellness is a very hot topic for me. And so many others. And, what we've seen happen in the United States in the last 4 months since the federal government deregulated hemp has really, truly been extraordinary. And for those who are not aware, hemp, which is the non-psychoactive version of cannabis, so we've got a plant called cannabis. We've got thousands of strains of this plant. And the federal government over the past 5 years has been slowly deregulating, legalizing the cannabis plant that has below 0.3% THC, creating a legal definition for hemp. And then in December of last year, they actually took hemp out of the Schedule I drug category. So Schedule I is a category that we created for heroin, cocaine, methamphetamine, all the bad drugs. And then we decided to put hemp, this non-psychoactive, amazing plant, in that category, thanks to some business leaders in the United States who were very influential, who decided that hemp was a threat to lumber, textiles, and pharma. So we've now reversed that. We've ended 80 years of prohibition. It's a really, really exciting time. And if you're not seeing hemp and CBD on every single news media, if you go to the magazine rack, you're going to see a ton of new magazines that are all about CBD. I saw 3 of them this last weekend. This is the next booming industry. This is a plant that is going to change so much globally, not just here in the United States. The whole world is following us in this federal government deregulation. We're seeing legalization in Mexico, in Canada, in Asia, in Europe. So really, really exciting what's happening in this industry. And I have an opportunity to attend lots of events where I meet different entrepreneurs who are excited about this. They are sharing about this in their own particular ways. And I'm super excited today to have our guest, John Zito, on. John is a serial entrepreneur. I think most of his life he worked in a family business. He and his former wife ran the Alchemy Juice Bar in Hartford, Connecticut. They specialized in raw vegan cuisine. So this is somebody who definitely knows a lot about holistic. And John recently shifted away from a 150-year-old family business to move full-time into hemp and educating people about hemp and CBD and building a global distribution team with one of the fastest-growing CBD companies. And I'm super excited to have you, John. Thanks so much for being here with us today.
Yeah, it's an honor, Joanne. Thank you.
Absolutely. And we had an opportunity to spend some time together this weekend in Dallas, Texas, and I'm excited to hear you share a little bit about what your experience there is. But why don't we just start off and let's have you talk a little bit about how you first heard about this. What was intriguing about it to you, and how's your business going?
It's pretty fabulous. Thank you. I have been kind of aware of the properties, the health properties of hemp for quite a while, as well as the industrial and food applications. And, this is something that has been, it's experiencing a rebirth, but like you said, it's been around for thousands of years. The Bible actually makes reference to it in the book of Exodus, preparing the ritual oil from the fragrant cane. And so this is not new. This is something that was known to humanity as a really beneficial plant species. And like you said, through special interests, especially the paper industry, hemp has gotten a bad rap, got it mixed up with the actual THC content, flour, and all that. And as a result, we've suffered. We've suffered not having the greatest food, not having the greatest paper, textiles, and most importantly, our neurological systems not being able to be benefited by the amazing regenerative powers that hemp offers to the human body. So I started looking into it specifically when my son was diagnosed with paranoid schizophrenia, which was a really terrible condition. And it really, if any of you out there have experienced any type of mental disease, you will know that very often it's not just the individual. It really is occupied by the entire family, that space of trauma and chaos. And so I was kind of desperate. We had always raised our children holistically, homeschooled them, alternative medicines, the whole thing. And I was really only had tried pharmaceutical materials under duress of a threat from DCF of a neglect charge, actually, from my son's therapist. Thankfully, that turned out to not really be a help for him. I didn't want his body to have to deal with all that toxicity anyway. And when my ex-wife, Imani, had said to me, hey, I think I have something that we should look into, it was this bottle, this nondescript hemp extract that said one interesting word, nano-enhanced and liposomally delivered. And I had immediate recall back to a vitamin C that we had offered in the cafe that was liposomally delivered. And I remembered that it offered higher levels of absorption into the body. And I thought, that's really interesting. That means we can get more out of what we're taking, and we can be more efficient and maybe even spend less in doing so. So I immediately sat down with my son, and we tried it. And I'll never forget, Joanne, the first thing that he said to me when he put it in his mouth, and it was only seconds after it hit his tongue, he looked at me and said, wow, Dad, I feel like I did when I was a little kid. Now, this is someone who was 20 years old at the time and who was traumatized with voices, with hallucinations, and he experienced for the first time in his life freedom, or at least a reduced version of that chaos in his head. And so it was a blessing in so many different ways. It didn't cure things, right? It didn't change everything, but it offered us a manageable handle on the condition. And as a result, our entire family's lives have been profoundly changed for the better. And when that happened, it only took a couple days for it to really ripple out to everyone. Everyone started saying, my God, what's going on with John? He seems so much better. And before you know it, I said to myself, my God, this is something that I want to share. And when I realized, when I had a conversation or two with people, and all of a sudden the responses were wide-eyed and yes, I said to myself, this is a really viable lifelong occupation, and I decided to move into it full-time. And that was 2 years ago, and I've experienced an incredible blessing of financial abundance and health on myself and my family as a result. So, it's been incredied.
Wow. Yeah, so I just want to recap here for a second because you covered so much. I've had an opportunity to talk with thousands of people over the last couple of years and attend a lot of different hemp events, listen to a lot of different testimonials from people. And this seems to be the most familiar thing, which is either I suffered from something or my kid or my parents or somebody very close to me got this catastrophic diagnosis. And, we looked at traditional, whatever the doctors told us to do, and we either didn't want to do it, we felt like it was too risky, or we tried it and it didn't help us. And I think, so much of the symptoms that you're talking about from this particular issue, there's certain things that traditional medicine and the pharma stuff, like, it has its place, right? And I don't want to diss it. But there's certain areas around, certain mental health issues, certain autoimmune disorders, there's certain things that there's no good drugs for it. They're just like, it doesn't seem to help people, and the side effects are, pretty awful. And I also love that you said, you even got a threat to what happens if you don't do that. And I know how it was, a couple years ago when Colorado was legalizing cannabis, and families were moving there from all over the country because they had kids who were having seizures. They had kids that were suffering from all variety of different things, and they were desperate. They were really, really desperate. And through all of that, you guys persevered. And before I had an opportunity to meet John, I had an opportunity to meet his amazing partner and Imani, and who homeschooled. You guys homeschooled 5 kids, right?
That's right.
That's no small thing. I homeschooled 2 of them for about 10 years, and when I met Imani, I was like, fall to my knees, bow down, like, wow, what a story, what a thing. And then to have something like this happen. And I've also heard this from a lot of people where you put it in their mouth, and because of this delivery system, because of this high bioavailability, because of these nanoparticles, liposomal, boom, it's an instantaneous thing. And that's not the experience necessarily across the board on CBD products, right?
Well, that's absolutely correct. And I did forget to mention that we had tried it before, so we were a little bit skeptical. And but I recognized the term, thankfully, and so I had a lot of hope for it, and it did. It actually exceeded my expectations.
Amazing. And then you also talked about how it kind of rippled out to your whole family. Do you want to say more about that? What was that?
Well, when one of the siblings, and there's 6 of them, is suffering, they all suffer, not only from a place of heart-sourced emotion and connection to their brother, but it's 5 girls and 1 boy. But from a place of real physical trauma, like he would go through episodes that we had to get the police involved in and to control him, because he wasn't small enough to tuck him under my arm anymore. This is a 6'2", 225-pound guy that was not, when he was upset, it was difficult. So there was some fear and trauma around his behaviors and property destruction and that type of thing. And thankfully, nothing really tremendously horrible happened, but it was enough to really, especially for the girls, to really, kind of scare them and us. And so when he was able to initially, like the first thing that really happened was he became aware of his reactions to things, where previously he was completely oblivious and really so traumatized by his own immediate sphere of energy that he could not consider anyone else beyond it. And when that began to melt, it was truly beautiful. I don't know how else to explain it other than just to sit there and watch somebody you really care about just really begin to soften and be loving towards the people that care about them. It was just extraordinary.
It's interesting what you're talking about, and I think, we started to tap into this conversation when we were having lunch the other day, and it's what made me really excited to have you on to kind of share your story. So when I share with people about hemp and CBD and what it does, I think what's remarkable is that we see these really dramatic results on the physical level, on the mental level, on the emotional level, on the energetic level, on the spiritual level. As a 27-year yogi and spiritual coach and somebody who's worked with plant medicines for a long time, kind of body, mind, and spirit all working together is pretty common for me. But not everybody's necessarily all tuned into that. And, my experience with this was dramatic on the mental, emotional, kind of energetic, spiritual level, less so on the physical. I didn't really have too much physical issues other than, kind of imbalance with my hormones, imbalance with chemistry, that sort of thing. But what you're talking about is increased awareness, which I would call a spiritual thing. Like it's almost like grace. It's like the grace quotient goes way up, and suddenly there's awareness, there's greater consciousness about what's happening, which sometimes means that your behavior, your behavior is more controllable. But at the very least, this higher level of attunement, it's a really big deal.
It really is, and for him, it meant opening the door to looking at a situation after it may have happened and looking at that person and saying, like your sister Cassie, I'm really sorry I just said that to you.
Mm-hmm.
Please forgive me.
Mm-hmm. Amazing. Yeah.
I'll never forget the first time that happened. And yeah.
Yeah, and as a trauma therapist, because I've been doing a lot of trauma work with people and people in addiction recovery for many, many years, and what happens when we grow up in families where there's addiction and where there's mental illness is those apologies don't happen, those acknowledgments don't happen, and people grow up their whole lives, and it is very traumatic to feel like you've been negatively impacted by people's sickness, their mental sickness, their addiction issues. And then there was never any acknowledgement. There was never any sort of apology for it. So I'm really hearing what you're saying as far as how that higher level of awareness and, probably less of the fight or flight sort of anxious feelings, just like kind of toned everything down and, created a whole different atmosphere and environment in your family.
Exactly. And can you still hear me okay?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay, great. And so one of the things that personally happened was I realized that I was, despite, being really aware of how to take care of myself, I was really so kind of like closed in and constricted with my heart because of everything that I really let myself go physically. And even though Monty and I cared a great deal for each other, we really needed to let each other go to be our fullest expression of ourselves. And so I was holding on to hurt about that. And that was back in 2012, and a lot of that may have had to do with John's illness too. So what I realized through, and especially lately through the most recent reformulation of our product, which was only about 2 months ago, we can have lab reports, test sheets, data sheets about the clinical trials and the benefits on a physiological and even mental health level. But what doesn't show up on paper and what I experienced is the really sweet, beautiful benefit on a spiritual level from this plant, especially this particular extraction that we're working with, was the self-love, the amplitude of self-care and a heightened awareness of my own body temple and how I really can dig back into the knowledge of the past and begin to really recreate a healthy state for myself. And I launched into a 30-day green juice fast, which is technically maybe not the proper way to say it. I was fasting on only green juice, which meant sprouts, cucumber, celery, once a day, water all else times. And I did this for 24 days, followed by 3 days of just water. And I detoxed myself so thoroughly that I literally dropped 57 pounds. And I feel like I have come alive again. Like the colors, the sounds, just the breeze on my skin, everything, heightened sense of almost tantric proportions in my body's physical, mental, emotional reaction to these sensations, and my relationships strengthening, and my ability to connect with people on an entirely different level, a much more evolved spiritual level. And I have to say that I attribute all of that to my taking, especially, like I said, this new formula that is just out, and I'm just in a state of enhanced bliss in my life, and it's just so beautiful. And I just wish everyone could experience this. And so I start talking about it with everyone now. You know, it's like my new gig, and I think we touched on that a little bit when we were with the group in Dallas the other day.
Yeah, enhanced bliss. I'm going to just say, like, anybody who's listening to this show, just, like, raise your hand if you're looking for some enhanced bliss. And I love what you're saying because, you know, this is life, right? Our children have issues. Relationships shift and change. A lot of times when you've got kids who have really serious things like what you did with, it puts a tremendous strain on relationship, and there's transition there. And then what's going to happen is one thing or another, right? People are either going to go down the toilet or they're going to have a massive awakening, and they're going to get really, really empowered. So we're going to take a short break. We're going to come back and talk more about what it's like when you take the right side and you step into massive empowerment and healing.
Coach Kev believes everyone is a leader and has a kingdom to build. He wrote Kingdom Business, License to Lead, to give you his secrets to leadership and to learn how to use the 4 pillars and hemp oil to become a committed, passionate leader of your life. Get the book, Kingdom Business, License to Lead by Kevin J. Suber at Amazon.com. You'll be glad you did. So do it now. Kingdom Business at Amazon.com or call 424-645-7823. That's 424-645-7823.
Women face more challenges today, resulting in more stress, anxiety, and body imbalances. Women need a little more support, and that's where Recept may help. Organically grown and processed with nanosonicated technology, this THC-free hemp product is a great balancing tool. It may aid a woman's hormonal balance from PMS to conception, from pregnancy to menopause. So women, get your calm on. Order Recept today. Just text or call 310-678-9712.
You're interested in trying hemp for healing, but you really don't know where to turn for answers. That's when you call cannabis nurse Jamie Rollins-Smith. She'll help you design an individualized, effective plan for utilizing just the right cannabis medicine, whole food nutrition, and mindfulness to achieve your personal wellness goals. As a cannabis consultant, she even offers services and online courses for nurses. Find out more about Jamie Rollins-Smith at TrueHealthConsulting.com. Or better yet, call her at 561-377-0220.
After 80 years, the government has finally broken open this industry. Imagine tapping into an industry that is expected to grow from $60 million to $22 billion in just 2 years. The industry is hemp. This just might be what you're looking for. To find out how you could be an international distributor with one of the fastest growing hemp companies, call or text 310-678-9712 now. That's 310-678-9712.
Created by nature and proven by science, Recept Hemp Extract is something you've probably never experienced before. This organic, non-THC product not only has CBD, but Recept has the latest and highest CBG content. CBG may aid sleep, pain, digestion, mood, so many things. Get your broad-spectrum Recept today. Call or text 310-678-9712 now, or visit lovinglife.primemybody.com.
You're listening to HealthyLife.net. Millions of listeners know the secret. Now you do too. Positive talk 24 hours a day, every day.
And thanks so much for joining us today. This is Joanne Reese, and you are tuned into The Hemp Show. If you're just tuning in, feel free to click on the on-demand podcast so that you can hear the beginning of the show. Our guest today, John Zito, out of Connecticut, who is a hemp entrepreneur, a father of 5, who at the beginning of the show we were talking about how you first learned about this as your former wife discovered hemp and how you might help support your son in dealing with some pretty catastrophic diagnoses, some violent, uncontrolled behavior that was, really, really a challenge for your family, and just the miracle that can happen when you run across a very high potency, high purity CBD product. And I love this thing that we're exploring about. I had an opportunity last night to speak at the Santa Monica Holistic Chamber of Commerce meeting, and I was one of the panel of people talking about second chances and how you reinvent yourself, sort of. And the way I interpreted that is when life gives you a crisis, a crisis situation, death, disease, divorce, right? These are the big ones. And what happens is sometimes people fall apart. There can be a tremendous amount of trauma in these sort of situations, and then depending on what's supposed to happen next is like there's a resurgence, there's grace that comes in, and I think this is one of the beautiful things about holistic medicine and the healing that can happen. I'm not going to make any medical claims about our product, but healing can happen when people tune into that which actually heals us, and what you were sharing about is that after you got some stability in your family and moved through a transition of marital changes and that type of thing, you really had an opportunity to focus on your own health and were able to do some pretty amazing things around juice fasting and turning things around, and it's miraculous. And you were continuing on with your story.
Yeah, and I just want to say that the body has an incredible ability to heal itself. We forget this. We think that it's prone to disease when in fact it's prone to health. And if we give it the opportunity, which generally means giving it an environment where instead of dedicating energy to stress, such as fight or flight or anxiety of any sort, and fatigue, that we can actually begin to give it an opportunity to turn that energy towards healing. And I think that's the secret with the right, there's this new generation of hemp oils that are now out that are super absorbable. They're super easy to get into the body. And when it's not all about just potency, right? Because we can eat high potency food and not really be nourished if our ability to absorb those nutrients is compromised. So what's really important is that the absorption rate is really high. And then whatever we put in, whether it's low potency or high, we're going to get all of what we put in. And sometimes all of a low potency supplement or food is actually more than a little bit of a really high potency version. So don't make the mistake of going to a CBD bottle and looking at the number of milligrams in the bottle, because that's really not the full story. So, again, going back to something really odd that just happened today, and this is my life now because I feel like I'm following the signs. And I just had an opportunity to be in this really nice place called the Sweet Beet. They're a vegan restaurant and outlet for really amazing food creations, really original. And I just happened to be in there. I wasn't even going to be in the area, but I just was. I stopped in, and there's a family with these 2 beautiful, really young children in the parents' arms, and both dealing with some pretty severe issues, as I remember, with cerebral palsy, and there was some other stuff too. Both of them, unfortunately, and they were happy despite that, But I just said to them, "Hey, I couldn't help but overhear your conversation. Here's my card. I think you'll find I can offer you an awful lot of resources and contacts that are not in the traditional medical vein, and they were really open to it. So, and then they were talking about how they had to take time off of work to spend with their children, and they didn't want to have other people, so they would have to switch. Like when one was resting with the kids, the other one was working. It was really, not much left for them as a relationship. But I thought to myself, wow, if this works out for them, here's an opportunity for an MLM, a multi-level marketing where you can work from home, which a lot of really great hot products are offered by to really help these people, because that's what it's designed to do. And I would like to just talk very briefly about the modern day network marketing model and how it's really an evolved version of what kind of yesterday's pyramid scheme was, and how it's people, if they were ever inclined to look at such a thing, that it's really a good time to do that, because things have changed. It's not your mother or dad's version of the pyramid structure anymore. Is
I love
that
it.
something that would be appropriate?
Yeah, absolutely. And I just want to say that, families that have kids in crisis, that have special needs, whether they're dealing with kids on the spectrum or kids with, severe ADD or even more severe, what you're talking about, they're having seizures, they have cerebral palsy or, different sort of issues. Like, these are families in crisis. They're often single income families, so much stress. There's a lot of studies out now about caregivers and whether caregivers are taking care of their parents or their kids or whatever's going on. Like, the stress is very severe. It's causing tremendous chronic inflammation. It's causing system breakdown. This is where we really have an opportunity to come in, not just with some information about holistic medicine, with something that's recently been legalized and how it can be supportive, but we have an opportunity to come in and say, not only do we want to help your family, but we want to help you help other families that are in these kind of similar issues with a home-based business, with something that that is going to, because you don't have these issues without a responsibility to share about how you've overcome these issues, right? I mean, the whole point of alcoholics getting sober is that they're going to help other alcoholics, right? Women who get raped become rape counselors. Families that survive these sort of issues with their kids, they have a deep desire to contribute and to share more. So I definitely want to hear about, and I feel like there's not just an opportunity here, but there's a responsibility. So we are going to take a really short break, and then we're going to come back and have you talk more about, how do you get involved in something like this? How do you discover about it? And then how do you turn it into a home-based business?
The best herbalist aromatherapist crafted body creams and herbal remedy products are now available to you. Completely organic, completely chemical free, and here's the secret, they're made with love. Vitality and rejuvenation seeps through with every application of Gaia's Garden Bath and Botanica products. Get your Gaia's Garden Bath and Botanica products today. Visit artfire.com and search for Gaia's Garden Bath and Botanica. That's artfire.com. Search for Gaia's Garden Bath and Botanica, and you're there.
After 80 years, the government has finally broken open this industry. Imagine tapping into an industry that is expected to grow from $60 million to $22 billion in just 2 years. The industry is hemp. This just might be what you're looking for. To find out how you could be an international distributor with one of the fastest growing hemp companies, call or text 310-678-9712 now. That's 310-678-9712.
You're interested in trying hemp for healing, but you really don't know where to turn for answers. That's when you call cannabis nurse Jamie Rollins Smith. She'll help you design an individualized, effective plan for utilizing just the right cannabis medicine, whole food nutrition, and mindfulness to achieve your personal wellness goals. As a cannabis consultant, she even offers services and online courses for nurses. Find out more about Jamie Rollins Smith at TrueHealthConsulting.com. Or better yet, call her at 561-377-0220.
Women face more challenges today, resulting in more stress, anxiety, and body imbalances. Women need a little more support, and that's where Recept may help. Organically grown and processed with nanosonicated technology, this THC-free hemp product is a great balancing tool. It may aid a woman's hormonal balance from PMS to conception, from pregnancy to menopause. So women, get your calm on. Order Recept today. Just text or call 310-678-9712.
Humans aren't the only ones that can benefit from hemp. Animals can too. Hemp Health for Pets was specially formulated for dogs and cats. Safe and effective, your pets can feel balanced in body and mind with Prime My Pet Hemp and Health Blend. It has organic CBD and yucca, hawthorn, fish oil, and red algae, making Hemp and Health Blend perfect to aid your pet's inflammation, skin conditions, joints, and more. Get yours today. Just text or call 310-678-9712. That's 310-678-9712.
Eclectic talk with a positive twist. HealthyLife.net.
And happy Wednesday. Thanks so much for joining us. This is Joanne Reese on The Hemp Show. We are talking about the benefits of hemp, this amazing legal plant. We're talking about health benefits physically, mentally, emotionally, spiritually. And we're also talking about the business, because this is an industry currently about $600 million in the United States, hemp, that is projected to go to $22 billion in the next 2 years. And if you want to look at something even bigger, CBD hemp for skincare is projected to be 5 times the growth of this. So we want to segue right now with our guest, John Zito, a little bit into how do people get involved in this massively growing industry. I'm guessing that most of our people here on this call don't have $1 million to invest in a grow operation or invest in a dispensary, which people can spend $500,000 to $5 million to get involved. Very, very high risk. What you have to do to go through the legalities of getting any sort of product to market is very high risk. You have to really, really know what you're doing in here. How do people get involved, us little people, in a business where we can be a part of something like this?
Yeah. Well, first of all, that's one of the amazing benefits about it, is that the in other words, the investment that one must pony up to become a part of an organization like this is generally very small. And that's, for someone who, like you say, who's already struggling, that's a perfect opportunity solution. But let's just back up for a second. Years ago, people were all up in arms about the pyramid scheme. It's a scam. They take a product, they mark it up, they relabel it, and they repackage it, and they sell it for a higher cost because they have to pay the people that sell it. Well, there may have been examples of that happened in the past, but in today's world, the formula has changed into a much more viable and very worthy, take a look type of situation. And I'll just say right up front, you show me a business that is not a pyramid. In other words, you show me a business that the upper half of the pyramid doesn't make more money than the lower half of the people involved, right?
Right.
The owners, the managers, they make more than the people that are just coming in and working. Now, what's true about most businesses that are not of the network marketing structure is that advancement is quite challenging. I mean, if you come into an insurance company, for example, or a financial advising company, your chance for becoming, up in the top 10% of the company is pretty limited. But in the network marketing world, there's no ceiling. I mean, everybody who comes in has that same opportunity. And, case in point, I've got 3 amazing women underneath me that actually make more money than I do, and I celebrate that because they are doing the work in the world that I do, and that I would do it for free if I would, because it's like you said, if something changes my life profoundly, I want to share it. I want to share it just by virtue of who I am, and to get paid for it on top of that is such a blissful combination that it's what people generally are not able to associate with the 2 things. In other words, making money and my blissful life are 2 distinct things, but they actually have them together where the actions and and income-producing activities that I engage myself in are actually the ones that actually juice me and make me feel like life is worth living. Like I get up in the morning and want to, who am I going to help today? So the marriage of those two concepts for me was a really solidifying ideal. And so, again, we come into this like for our particular company, it's $39. I mean, the cost of Starbucks for most of us for a month is $39, and that covers you for a whole year. And the only other expenses you're going to want to buy some product to help share with people and sample people, and we bring in people and we build a team, and it just becomes, there's that another thing that doesn't show up on the income spreadsheet of any company is the social community and the wonderful relationships that we breed and develop with each other. And for example, I mean, when we get together at company events, it's a coming together of people all across the nation, and sometimes as we spread out internationally around the world, and to be able to see people and deepen and make more profound the connections that we began, sometimes only virtually, in person, spending time over a weekend or something, whatever the case may be, with that person, with that group of people. There's nothing like it. I mean, you and I had conversations in the past 36 hours that we never have had prior, Joanne, and we wouldn't have had it unless we got together physically. And so,
absolutely,
just that whole kind of like the world of this particular organization.
Yeah.
It's just beautiful.
I love it, too. And I just want to mention that these are mompreneurs, as was your former wife, mompreneurs, so working moms who want to work around their kids' schedule, who want to be involved, who want to show up for the soccer games and drive to the ballet lessons and be really, really involved with their kids. And they also want to be out in the world and contributing to something that is life-changing, totally empowering for women, making a big difference and an impact. And, what I love about this is community building, and I really believe that community is the medicine that we all need. Like, we are the medicine for the people, the love, the wisdom, the care, the mentoring, the coaching that happens in this particular model, which is new for me. I had never done any kind of affiliate program prior to learning about CBD, but I got a phone call that changed my life, and I made a FaceTime video on Facebook. By the way, my name is Joanne Reese Ellinger on Facebook. So if you want to follow me, I'd love to have you follow me. I got a phone call from a friend who said, "This is it. This is what we've been waiting for. This is what we've been praying for. What do you know about CBD?" 2.5 years ago, and that phone call changed my life. And you and your wife got a phone call. Imani got a phone call. And you reached out to somebody on Facebook, right, and said, "Hey, I love what you're doing. What do you know about CBD? Are you interested in learning about hemp and how to get involved?" And, we have an opportunity to receive these calls because most of us are praying for something. I know I was praying. I was praying to feel better. I was praying for something really meaningful that I could contribute to, something that would bring me into greater alignment with my mission. I was praying for financial sovereignty as a single mom. I went on a homeschool journey for 10 years. That was pretty much the most rewarding, worst paying job I ever had. I don't know how it was for you guys, but, we want to contribute. We want to do amazing things, and we also want abundance. We want prosperity. So we're going to take a short break. We're going to come back with our guest, John Zito. Thanks for joining us today.
You're interested in trying hemp for healing, but you really don't know where to turn for answers. That's when you call cannabis nurse Jamie Rollins Smith. She'll help you design an individualized, effective plan for utilizing just the right cannabis medicine, whole food nutrition, and mindfulness to achieve your personal wellness goals. As a cannabis consultant, she even offers services and online courses for nurses. Find out more about Jamie Rollins Smith at TrueHealthConsulting.com. Or better yet, call her at 561-377-0220.
Women face more challenges today, resulting in more stress, anxiety, and body imbalances. Women need a little more support, and that's where Recept may help. Organically grown and processed with nanosonicated technology, this THC-free hemp product is a great balancing tool. It may aid a woman's hormonal balance from PMS to conception, from pregnancy to menopause. So women, get your calm on. Order Recept today. Just text or call 310-678-9712.
Humans aren't the only ones that can benefit from hemp. Animals can too. Hemp Health for Pets was specially formulated for dogs and cats. Safe and effective, your pets can feel balanced in body and mind with Prime My Pet Hemp and Health Blend. It has organic CBD and yucca, hawthorn, fish oil, and red algae, making Hemp and Health Blend perfect to aid your pets' inflammation, skin conditions, joints, and more. Get yours today. Just text or call 310-678-9712. That's 310-678-9712.
After 80 years, the government has finally broken open this industry. Imagine tapping into an industry that is expected to grow from $60 million to $22 billion in just 2 years. The industry is hemp. This just might be what you're looking for. To find out how you could be an international distributor with one of the fastest growing hemp companies, call or text 310-678-9712 now. That's 310-678-9712.
Created by nature and proven by science, Recept Hemp Extract is something you've probably never experienced before. This organic, non-THC product not only has CBD, but Recept has the latest and highest CBG content. CBG may aid sleep, pain, digestion, mood, so many things. Get your broad-spectrum Recept today. Call or text 310-678-9712 now, or visit lovinglife.primemybody.com.
You're listening to HealthyLife.net. Millions of listeners know the secret. Now you do too. Positive talk 24 hours a day, every day.
This is Joanne Reese. Thanks so much for joining us today. If you're just tuning in, hit the on-demand podcast button so you can listen to the beginning of this interview. Our guest today, John Zito. We are talking about hemp, the miraculousness of this plant. We're talking about how people can get involved in a business opportunity without $1 million for a grow operation. We're talking about an affiliate marketing model where people can have a very low initial entry point into an established company. John and I were in Dallas, Texas this last weekend, and we had an opportunity to go on an amazing tour of a brand new $1 billion manufacturing facility. I was impressed. How about you?
Oh, man. I mean, to have a facility that was 125,000 square feet and everything in it, the building and everything in it was less than a year old. I mean, you could eat off the floors. It was just a pharmaceutical grade level facility, and it just, to be able to know that they had 200,000 additional square feet available to accommodate any scaling up that we were doing, it was just a really comforting and enjoyable experience.
Yeah, and I think that's the key is scaling up because we're getting ready to watch an industry explode. It's supposed to grow 40 to 50 times in the next few years. There's going to be thousands and thousands of players on the field, and there's going to be a handful of really, really top-notch, top-quality, super highly medicinal, creme de la creme options. And, you know, we've seen this company go from 0 to 50 million in 2 years. We're going to watch it go to $1 billion in the next probably 3 to 4 years. And this particular structure it's attractive for people, right, who want to have a home-based business, want to have another revenue stream. You have some secrets to success in this particular industry. You've had some experience in here. I'd love to hear you share about that, John.
Right. So just like with any distribution model, there's sharing. And I realized when I began sharing from my heart and relating events and happenings and blessings and upsets in my life that were very kind of emotionally based and heart based instead of from the mind. And what I mean by that is I could say, my son has schizophrenia, and I gave him this stuff at work, and it was so great. I mean, that's a very kind of sanitary way of looking at the situation, rather than delving a little bit into the experiences, the trauma, the difficulty, and then like what exactly he said to me the moment he felt the sensation of reduced chaos in his brain, and how I felt through my body when that happened, and just the kind of like the showering of blessings that happened afterwards. I mean, it's a whole different conversation, and when I can engage with people and relay that type of storytelling to them or with them, it becomes a whole different experience for me and for them, and I begin to become someone in their eyes that they enjoy spending time with. They're not humoring me and just listening and politely listening so that they can skip out and grab a phone call or meet with someone else. They're actually carving out time in their day because it becomes a positive experience in their lives. And so in order to create that, there's a couple key components I've found. One of them is I definitely want to share from a really vulnerable place. And I need to be okay in doing that with myself. And then the second and almost more important is the preparatory activity that happens prior to that. And that's where I really kind of shut up and I asked them, what's going on in your life? Mm-hmm. Like, what are you looking for? Mm-hmm. And what do you desire? What are your hopes and dreams and goals? And what are your difficulties? What's your current situation? And I really asked some key questions that hopefully engage the people or group of people that I'm with. And when people open up and they kind of they want to share. People want to share what's going on in their lives. And when I can provide a safe, confidential container for that to happen, 9 times out of 10, they are going to be more open and receptive to what I have to say.
Absolutely, yeah. And, this can happen anywhere. I mean, I've had it happen on social media, right? I've had somebody post on social media and say, I had a terrible breakup. I'm scared. I'm overwhelmed. I feel alone. I need support, And I don't know if you guys know this or not, but you can, even if you don't know somebody's phone number, if you're friends with them on Facebook, you can call them through Facebook Messenger. And I've done it. I've done it a ton of times, and I've said, thank you. Thank you for reaching out, right? Because we've got a suicide epidemic going on in this country. We've got massive drug epidemics going on in this country. Like, people are feeling isolated. They're feeling alone. They've gotten some really catastrophic diagnoses. People are facing, I heard Deepak Chopra speak recently. He said 99.9% of the world is dealing with low-grade anxiety and depression, right? We have our teenagers are in crisis. We've got mental health crisis going on. So you don't have to look very far to see. So maybe you're in line at Starbucks. Maybe you're at church. Maybe you're at the gym. And you're having these heartfelt conversations with people, and you're saying what's happening in your world. And you're sharing authentically, maybe what you've gone through. And that's kind of, from my perspective, this is how we all have a ministry. You don't have to be in a religion to have a ministry, because you're a human on the planet, and you have a mouth, and you have 2 ears, and you can talk, and you can ask people what's going on, and you can listen deeply.
Yeah, and that's why we have 2 ears and 1 mouth, is because we're really more in connection with people when we listen more than we talk. And yeah, absolutely, we are dying of thirst of connection in humanity in general. And as electronic devices and the internet kind of further separate us and make us feel like we're independent, we're an island. I encourage everyone to use that technology for good.
Absolutely. And so, in conclusion Sorry. I just want to say in conclusion today, because we got to wrap up really quick here, we're talking about caring deeply. We're talking about educating yourself about holistic medicine. We're talking about building community and touching people in a really deep, amazing way. And for those who are, interested, we're talking about a way to open up the closet to your big hopes and dreams, your big mission in life, and how you might create financial sustainability within your family, within your community, and share that opportunity. So thank you so much, John. I so appreciate you being with us today.
Thank you, Joanne. It was an honor.
More to be continued. Sending so much love to y'all. Goodbye, everybody.
Coach Kev believes everyone is a leader and has a kingdom to build. He wrote Kingdom Business, Licensed to Lead, to give you his secrets to leadership and to learn how to use the 4 pillars and hemp oil to become a committed, passionate leader of your life. Get the book, Kingdom Business, Licensed to Lead by Kevin J. Suber at Amazon.com. You'll be glad you did. So do it now. Kingdom Business at Amazon.com or call 424-645-7823. That's 424-645-7823.
After 80 years, the government has finally broken open this industry. Imagine tapping into an industry that is expected to grow from $60 million to $22 billion in just 2 years. The industry is hemp. This just might be what you're looking for. To find out how you could be an international distributor with one of the fastest growing hemp companies, call or text 310-678-9712 now. That's 310-678-9712.
You're interested in trying hemp for healing, but you really don't know where to turn for answers. That's when you call cannabis nurse Jamie Rollins Smith. She'll help you design an individualized, effective plan for utilizing just the right cannabis medicine, whole food nutrition, and mindfulness to achieve your personal wellness goals. As a cannabis consultant, she even offers services and online courses for nurses. Find out more about Jamie Rollins Smith at TrueHealthConsulting.com, or better yet, call her at 561-377-0220.
Women face more challenges today, resulting in more stress, anxiety, and body imbalances. Women need a little more support, and that's where Recept may help. Organically grown and processed with nanosonicated technology, this THC-free hemp product is a great balancing tool. It may aid a woman's hormonal balance from PMS to conception, from pregnancy to menopause. So women, get your calm on. Order Recept today. Just text or call 310-678-9712.
Eclectic talk with a positive twist. HealthyLife.net.